with the Mac, that is the problem, because the Zoom software probably is that the Zoom software is probably already upgraded towards the this video is private. I don't want it to be private. Oh well, we'll fix it, whatever it is. And
Now you're frozen.
Yeah, Jan, you're
yeah,
frozen.
yeah, well, what can I tell you? This is not a good thing. This is not a good thing. But it is what it is. And so, am I back?
You're back. Well, nope. Now you're frozen again. And now you're back.
It's redirecting me. Okay, well, good. There it is. Okay, so I'm back. Welcome, everybody. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty for sure today, once again, and I believe that it has to do with the Zoom software and the Mac software on my computer, but hey, that's the way life goes. Let me get into my notes. And so basically, this is 1025. This is our 179th meeting. Congratulations. We've made it. We've got over 365 viewers on YouTube. 5,000 people are members of our Facebook page. Who knows how many people are actually watching this? So welcome, everybody. This is our current event show. We talk about whatever on our mind relating to current events and what anybody has to say. I'm Jan Landy. Just remember, everything that you hear today is an opinion, so do your own research. And so welcome. Anybody on the panel has anything that they want to say before we go into the subjects that I think are relevant for today?
Well, hello all. I'm from downtown Australia, and I've been seriously into SD8 Digico World this week, programming the console, and it's been quite good, but I think it'll work when I'm finished. 92 channels. There's my, and hopefully it'll load on the console. But I've definitely been in Digico World this week.
Yeah, so you're thinking backwards and upside down on everything?
I got right around and I made it into a split console. So 92 channels I did. And I turned it into a 36 front of house split, and then the extra channels as well as, so that, and I set up, it's a pretty good, I think I've set up a pretty good file. I've put all the monitor channels over here, and I've created some groups because I'm going to do it all in one go, all on the one console. I got there. Can I say, Kurt? I got there in the end. You just have to learn the different. And I haven't used the Digico for a while, so I was just using the editor. But I have spent probably 40 hours in the last week because I'd find mistakes I make, and I fix the mistakes, and then. But it's good. I'm hoping I'm pretty pleased with myself that I got to the end. I'm sure there's some things that I haven't done correctly, because at 92 channels you always forget something, like what I did this morning with my speakers. But anyway, good
thing you didn't have 15 minutes between getting there and sound check.
Oh yeah, no, there's no way you ever set what I put on this file. It's got stuff everywhere. And control groups. It's very capable consoles. Yeah. But the SD12 does more, doesn't it? It's got more stuff. You've got a couple of SD12s.
Yeah.
But they're essentially the same, aren't they? SD12 and 8.
Software works the same. You just have more options on the 12.
More options, yeah.
But it also takes more time. More options, more time.
Yes, everything that's more options is more time. Because you can do more. That's one of the reasons I kept changing my mind on how I was going to structure the console to use it. So I could have easy access to the monitor section that I'd created on bank 3 and on the right bank, I should say. Because it's interesting to me, they call the right bank screen Surface 1, Surface 2, and the center one Surface 3, which is fine, but I just thought it was a little unusual.
Just be really careful what you do with the left bank, because that's got eons of history.
Does it? Eons.
Never mind. Very, very
I
bad
know what you were saying.
attempted humor.
Yes, that's all good. But anyway, I was pretty pleased with I was pretty pleased with myself at the end. If it works, that is. Otherwise, it could be like.
All right. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about before we go into the stories? All right. Well, congratulations then to everybody. Welcome. Just remember, everything here is an opinion. Hey, Wayne, I'm glad that you got that console going. I mean, I didn't even know they had that kind of technology down in Australia. So, hey, that's good.
There's only one in the Riverina.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening with my camera. It seems like I'm live here, but according to the way I'm looking at it, I'm frozen with my head down. Oh, no, that's oh, I see. That's the other one. I got two images here. All right. This is crazy. This is really, really crazy and very difficult for me on what's going on. But my camera is definitely frozen on my Mac computer, so it's not working. Oh well, let's just see what happens. We are live. It's not streaming though. I could see that it's not streaming on YouTube. It is somewhere, but I don't know where. So we'll find it later. Anyway, hey, congratulations to the Arizona Diamondbacks. They are now playing the Texas Rangers in the World Series. Where is it? The first one's going to be at the Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Wayne, do you get Major League Baseball down there in Australia?
I can't answer that, Jan, because I don't. I think they probably do put it somewhere. I haven't watched it though.
Mm-hmm. Nope. There you go. Anybody plan on watching the World Series? I watched the last game of the Texas game, and I thought it was pretty exciting. You know, one thing I noticed is that everybody on the field was pretty svelte. You know, they were all in good shape. Usually, I remember when I was used to watch the Dodgers, their pitchers will look always, overweight. But the Texas Rangers, everybody looked like they were in pretty good shape. So it should be a good game. The Phillies against the Arizona Diamondbacks against Texas Rangers. If you follow baseball, you got something to look forward to for the next few days, depending on how long the game lasts. All right. Anybody on Facebook? Anybody on Facebook other than me? I guess we all are, right? So did you hear this? Meta, the parent company for Facebook, is now being sued by 42 different attorney generals, alleging that Facebook, Instagram are addictive and they target kids. Anybody have any comments on that?
Just spend less time on them. That's all you have to do is micromanage your day.
Yeah. You know, my fiance, she wakes up in the morning, first thing she does, turn to Facebook, whereas I have like 5,000 friends and followers on my Facebook page. She's got 100, and everyone, she knows everyone. It's either family or friends she grew up with, so it really has a lot of meaning to her, whereas it doesn't have much meaning to me, as it is more of, just hi world, how you doing, and I look at, like Kurt posts pictures of food, and I love those pictures. It's amazing that he's still so thin with the amount of food that he's posting. Now, do you eat that food, or do you just take pictures of it and then put it in a bin?
No, we eat the food. You worked for a second and now you're frozen again. Maybe you should update your computer while you're talking on your phone.
Yeah, I guess I could do that. It's just not working, whatever it is. And I'm not, as long as I have my cell phone and I could do it with my cell phone, that's fine for right now. I'll figure it out. I'll talk to Zoom, and I'll probably, the one reason why I haven't upgraded the software on the computer is because I have one app called QuickBooks, which I run my business on. And I'm afraid that if I upgrade to the next version of Sonoma on the Mac, that my QuickBooks won't work. And then QuickBooks will get me for $500 a year, because they went away from the desktop version to the subscription version. So that's just one of my thoughts.
But then
anyway,
you just don't do what you did last week and just deleted it and reinstalled it and came back on?
I didn't have, I seen it work. I tested it out earlier today, and it worked fine. So I felt, well, seeing it works fine, I'll just keep working it with it. But right now I do have a problem with Zoom. So I am speaking on my cell phone and also video taping. But moving on, seeing we're all in this business of entertainment, I don't know if you heard it, but the first of its kind in Central Park, New York, a company called Studio Drift lit up the night sky with 1,000 choreographed drones, and we'll throw the link in the chat. Have you guys, I think they did that at the Super Bowl one year too, as well, where they had all these drones putting up, designs in the sky. It's pretty cool.
They've been doing it at concerts too.
Yeah.
They
I guess
actually now they're talking about, because in some areas of the country it's so dry that they're afraid that they shoot like fireworks off for like the 4th of July or special events, that the sparks could cause fires. So now they're using drones to do like a fireworks display where they can put all the drones in the sky and make them like do different colors and like what a firework would do, to save as precaution for not having fires. People like the look, but they still miss like the sound, like the boom sound of a firework going off. They like how it looks, but like I said, they're just missing the noise of the actual the boom noise that comes with the fireworks.
Well, go out and get your subwoofers, and there you go.
Hey, that's what I said. Subwoofers all over the place.
Yeah, not a bad idea, but it is an impressive thing that they're doing with that. I mean, the technology is getting better and better. Soon they'll be delivering to your house with drones as well, but I don't believe it'll put on a light show. Maybe if it hit the electric poles, boom, that would be a very impressive light show, but quick, And speaking of poles, those people in California, we don't really have anybody from California today, do we? They're going to introduce speed cameras that will find motorists automatically. So if you're going to California and seeing there's nobody here from California today, David and Kenny are both out doing shows. So if you're driving in California, in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills area, be very careful, because now they have speed cameras. But here's a topic we could talk about that everybody has experience with: rental cars. Along those lines, rental cars where the fees are limitless and a reservation is a little bit fake. You're booking some through travel websites where you start at price A, that by the time you get there at the checkout, it's price B. Now, Kurt, I know you've been renting cars. Josh, I know you rent cars. I've rented cars, and I'm really surprised that when you rent a car, that it's not the same. And there's a great Seinfeld episode where he talks about, well, you can take the reservation, but to hold the reservation, that's where the problem comes. Has anybody had any experience with rental cars?
I had a rental car earlier this year, and it was really good. Unlimited miles. It was like a brand new one. The one I requested, the day I show up, they said, well, we don't have that model because something happened. So they gave me like the next step up, which was supposed to be more money, but because that's all they had, they gave it to me for what I was supposed to, the price of the other car. And yeah, it was really, really good.
Well, good. Kurt, what about you? Have you been experiencing anything with rental cars that this woman says? By the way, her name is Emily Stewart. She wrote an article from Vox.
Well, I didn't want to deal with it when I was in Bend, so I actually bought a pickup truck and left it down there.
Oh, that's a smart idea.
It was too much of a pain and too unreliable. It's too difficult to know you're going to get it. You can take the reservation, but it's all about holding the reservation. That's
right. That's what the Seinfeld says. That's the Seinfeld episode. If you haven't seen it, it's really funny. Look it up. It's also the same thing at that point in time. I think that's also the same episode where they have only one first class ticket. And Jerry wants to take it because he tells Elaine that, hey, look, if you've never flown first class, you don't know what you're missing. And I have flown first class, so I will know what I'm missing. Anyway, how's the weather where you guys are? I hear hurricanes are getting stronger and faster. The study finds that the weather is really changing around in the world right now in so many different ways. How's the weather up there, Kurt?
Sunny and raining.
Is that normal for this time of year?
No, it should be raining. Not sunny and raining.
And Josh, is it getting cold where you are yet?
Yesterday we had a high of 81, which is really unusual, but it's been about like 60s, between 55 and 70 the last few days, but all rain and a lot of leaves falling.
Yeah. I think that, but down south it's even worse, and the hurricane season is really already started, and there's gonna. I mean, basically, what I've heard, from Neil deGrasse Tyson, is the way it works. The glaciers are melting, and it's raising the water level all over the world. But it's worse than that, because the glaciers evidently somehow are fresh water, and it's going into the seawater, which is salt water, but fresh water is lighter than seawater, so it stays on top. And a lot of the fish are having a lot of bit of problems, because they're usually top feeders. Now they have to go down below. So we're having a lot of problems with the ecology. So do the best you can. And anybody else have anything they want to say about that? All right. Anybody eat salmon?
Yes.
Well, salmon, of course, they're basically they're running low on salmon right now, and so farmers now have started fish farms where they're putting salmon, and it might actually save the salmon population, that they're growing salmons in these tanks and feeding the public with farm grown salmon. I have a friend who, when we went to Costco last time, he wouldn't buy any farm fish. All he wanted was natural fish from the ocean.
Yeah,
Does
because
anybody, Kurt, you're an expert in the field of cooking. What do you think about that, of farm raised compared to wild?
Well, that's nothing new. They've been doing it up here for
Yeah.
decades. There's huge pens in the San Juan Islands that are that's all they do. And they've got them all over the Atlantic too. So it's been going on for a long time. They say it doesn't taste as good. I would agree. It doesn't have the same color. It's kind of a very reduced quality.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anybody else have anything that they want to say about that?
Well, I've watched special shows on it. I wouldn't eat it. I'd have to have the real stuff.
The wild, because you're wild. That's what it is. Me too. I like the wild. I like the wild fish. The wilder the better. Those troubled fish. Anyway, speaking about wild,
I don't
T-Mobile.
even know what to say about that.
Yeah, listen. Silence is golden sometimes, except on a radio show. That's when it's not so. That's not when it's not so golden. Because they can't hear you. If all we're doing is audio, and that's what's going out on our podcast, which it is, if you don't say anything, nobody can hear you, and they move to another podcast, which I'm surprised they don't already move to another podcast. Oh my Lord. Anyway, anybody with T-Mobile, you have to be very, very careful with T-Mobile right now, because basically what's happening with T-Mobile is they're going to a pricier plan, and they're basically disguising it. So be careful. Watch your price increase. There's an article in USA Today that T-Mobile might be switching some of their customers to pricier plans and not letting them know it in advance. I on the other side, I did hear something from the chairman of the board of T-Mobile saying that was only a pilot program, and it hasn't been released to the public. So just a word to the wise, be careful about the T-Mobile thing, right? Anybody have any experience with that?
Not me. I'm not with T-Mobile.
Okay. Well, let's keep moving on, because I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. Okay, Ken Porter comes into the room. And welcome, Ken Porter. Welcome, our Nashville representative. There's some news
Hello,
in
Ken.
Nashville. What's going on with your police department over there? Are you safe?
I have no idea. I live in Wilson County.
Good.
Hello,
good.
Ken.
Good. You're.
So what is going on? I haven't watched any news. Should I be worried?
Oh, I just touched on it. I don't really know the whole story. I guess the police chief's son committed killed a few people there or something like that. But do your own research, because that is completely an opinion on my behalf, and I am not 100% sure of the story. I just remember glancing through it in that respect.
Oh, well, we still have a whole bunch of lawsuits and battles going on trying to keep the stuff from the shooter private. They don't want to press what the reason for the shootings at the school.
Wow, I didn't even know there was a shooting at your schools down there as well.
Oh, that was back in the spring. It was down at
Oh,
the school, killed a bunch of kids.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's horrible. Anyway,
What are we doing? What are we doing out there in the Indian Ocean? You going out there bobbing in the ocean like a stop, being fishing bait?
no, we're right on well, actually, we're on the Indian Ocean, but it's called the Molucca Straits. I love that name, the Molucca, but that's what it is. It's the Molucca Straits, and that leads right into the Indian Ocean where I am. So it's just beautiful here, absolutely beautiful. It was raining a lot. Now it's raining a little bit on and off, like just tropical rain as always. It rains in the morning, rains in the afternoon for a little while, then the sun comes out. But basically, it is so humid here. It's horrible how humid it is. The best part about it is you don't have to wear many clothes. You wear t-shirts and shorts, flip-flops, and that kind of alleviates some of the problem of the humidity, but still it's very humid, very, very, very high humidity here in Thailand, especially where I am, surrounded by water on all sides.
I thought you might have made a run up to China and helped Newsom negotiate with the Chinese.
No, there's enough Chinese down here right now because China borders Thailand, and they've made it very easy for the Chinese people to come. Even more so, they've made it very easy for the Russians to come. Usually, what happens if most people have a 1-month visa that you can come in without any paperwork, but they've made an exception for the Russians now, and the Russians can have 3 months without a visa, which a lot of people are really up in arms about that aren't Russian, of course. They're saying, "Wait, how come they can get 3 months and we can?" And they also opened an embassy here, or a consulate, not an embassy, here in Thailand, the Russians. And the new prime minister invited Putin to come. And unfortunately for them, I don't think Putin's going anywhere. And fortunately for us, I believe that Putin had a heart attack. And so that's something that's, you're never going to know the whole story there, but at least there's part of the story. Do your own research. That is an opinion, of course. But I'll tell you something that isn't an opinion. The Aces are our WNBA basketball team in Las Vegas. They won the second state championship in a row. Tina, did you watch any of the games? All right, I guess you didn't. All right, well, so what about flu shots? Anybody getting a flu shot this year?
Had mine, Jan. I've already had mine.
Hold on a second, Glenn.
Me
Jan.
too.
I got more on your NBA. I came home and got the the Chronicle of Mount Juliet paper tonight. And on it, in the front, Mount Juliet High School grad Clark earns 3rd WNBA title. Las Vegas clinches title 70-69 at Barclays Center. And she's graduated from Mount Juliet High School.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations. They see there's that 6 degree of separation is now only 2 degree. And there we are. We're right there. We're right there. So how's things going down there in Nashville as far as the flu season? Is the flu season started there as well? Do people get flu shots?
Not that I know of.
Well, anyway, the CDC recommends that everyone age 6 months and older get a seasonal flu shot each year, but fewer than half of Americans do. I know I got one this year because I'll probably be back in the winter time, and I wanted to make sure I don't get the flu. It seems to work. I haven't had the flu in a long time, and I get a shot every year. So,
Well,
I guess it works for
you
me.
went to NAM.
Long time ago.
Well, there
Long
you
time
go.
ago.
Those two things are related,
Yeah, well, I agree with you. They say that not only that, all trade shows are a hotbed of disease, where they're saying that the spread of COVID actually started at CES in Las Vegas. That all the people came in from China with the disease and spread it throughout because people came from all over the world to be at CES that year.
Same discussion.
So that's possible.
NAM show in 2022. 2020 also.
I was sick within a week after NAM 2020. About 3 days afterwards, had COVID.
I know people that came back with it and got sick on the plane.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, those trade shows definitely are a hotbed of people from all over the world. And so, when you're in that kind of close quarters, it's easy to spread diseases and germs and stuff like that. That's why when I was doing the trade shows, I had hand spray made in little bottles as I was giving away as promotion, and everybody loved them. The alcohol. Yeah. So I was way ahead of my time. Way ahead of my time.
Speaking of trade shows, did anybody, what's everybody heard that's been released so far today? I've got the Fourier from Digico, which is a new server that will be shipping the first quarter of the year. Because Meyer is showing at NAM at AES this year too, right? NAB, and
Yeah,
they usually never do, right?
they haven't done AES in a long time.
I don't think I've seen them at NAB either.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, they've kind of consolidated all their efforts, as far as I know. I mean,
Yeah, well,
told.
I
I know
got
they came out with a new server type processor management system today that's for constellation and space map and installation work and stuff like that. And I'm sure they're pushing Panther and 2100, and they got a lot going well for them right now.
Yeah, well, I got a secondhand email that they decided they weren't going to come to the AES Nashville event, even though they sponsored a room and all the stuff with Soundcheck.
Hey, I'm going to let you guys continue on without me for a minute. I'll be right back.
But it's around, I was trying to figure out of that new 21 that they have out, that 21, that multi-cone driver.
Yeah, I've got 6 of them so far.
Is that a standard driver? Is it the only ones that make that, or is it someone else has it too? Is it coming from anybody else?
I don't actually know. Meyer typically builds everything in-house, so I would assume it's theirs. If it's not, then it was probably spec'd specifically for their needs and probably limited to their. It's not an off-the-shelf thing. It's a quad voice coil. So
maybe
if it's OEM, I'm sure it's very, very specific.
We can do OEM subs in. I mean, surround sound sub.
Surround sound subs?
Yeah, you said it's a quad coil, so.
Oh, yeah, they're all in one box though.
So does that mean the voice coil's on the inside and out, and there's 2 on either side? 4 voice.
I haven't looked inside. I would imagine that they are concentric or in a line or something. It's to disperse heat and increase
get rid of the heat. Yeah. That's pretty because a lot of companies were doing the inside-outside coil, which got rid of heat. But there was some issues that the in-between was quite hot. I did read at one point, but
no, you can see the phone. I mean, I've got them in the shop. I was looking at them today. It just looks like a normal cone from the front. There's nothing sticking out front. Eminence actually had a 1200 watt driver once that had a heat sink stuck out the front where the dust cap would normally be.
Oh, audio.
That was kind of interesting. I used a few of them in some boxes.
Because once they started the vented gap cooling, that was a quite a help, which use this cone, the movement of the cone, to push air over the voice coil to cool it down. And everyone's doing that now. And then the 4 voice coil, or the double voice coil, came in, and now the Meyer one's got 4 voice coils.
Yes.
Yeah. It would be an expensive driver at the because you got to put it in the magnetic field, so there's magnets everywhere. I'm intrigued that someone hasn't. Here's a technical thing. So instead of using permanent magnets, I'm surprised that someone hasn't gone back to and maybe there's technical reasons to powered magnetic fields like they did in many years ago in the theatre world. Because you would think that the amount of electrical magnetism that you could get would be quite amazing compared to, obviously then the speaker doesn't work if it's not plugged in, of course, But I'm surprised with powered boxes and that, or not surprised, just interested to why someone hasn't gone down that road. Or is it just totally cost prohibitive or just not a good idea?
Not
I don't
sure
know.
I'm aware of the technology you're describing.
Well, we have
Well-
electric condenser microphones. How about electric condenser speaker?
Yeah, but I was thinking more of like, back in the 30s and 40s when the magnet of the speaker was plugged into the PowerPoint, if you know what I mean. That's how they created the magnetic field. So I was intrigued to whether that's very inefficient or whether it's cost prohibitive or it just doesn't work as well as a permanent magnet. And I was just wondering myself why that hasn't happened in later years where we've got powered boxes and power running around everywhere. Anyone got any thoughts on that one? Or it's just a pointless exercise. I don't think it'd be a pointless exercise, but I have noticed that the flux density of subwoofers, the later ones, is actually less to make the speaker sound flatter, I believe. But you got to put more energy in it. Would that be a true statement? So it's got a lot less ability to produce higher frequencies, in other words. But you can put more power in it because you can get rid of the heat and you can get a flatter speaker down to a lower response. That's sort of what I see they're doing when I study all the drivers and whatnot.
Not exactly sure.
Because some of those speakers, some of those subs.
That only works in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, in the southern. But I have noticed, like, if you look at the half space reference efficiency of a speaker, some of those subwoofer drivers are 1.2% efficient. Where if you went back to, just pick a 2240, which is, they were like 5% efficient, but not at low frequencies. They weren't flatter. They weren't as flat. So they took. I don't know. I could be incorrect, but I just noticed that the speaker will go to a lot of it's. There's so many things that come into play there. Obviously, the cabinet and what tuning frequency and how long the X maximum, all that sort of stuff. But I was just wondering whether all the big subwoofers, I've seen that the flux density seems to be less, or the reference efficiency is less, because we've got big amplifiers nowadays.
Well, just to comment on your last comment, that's why you're on this show, because it's an opinion. It doesn't matter whether you know what you're talking about or not. So there you go. Good job.
Well, I try. I'm interested to see what other people think of those scenarios. I do a fair bit of study on the woofers, but to see what they're woofing about.
Well, one thing about sound right now and the woofers, they have an effect on our bodies. If the frequency is too low, it could affect your body movements. And one of the things that they've just did a research on, and the FDA has just approved, and it's cost about $12,000, but it's a cancer treatment that uses sound waves to disintegrate tumors as painless alternative to radiation and chemotherapy. And I spoke to my doctor about this, and the sound wave treatment, it's called histotripsy, is indeed very exciting, and one might be on the forefront of cancer treatment for the next decade. And they're researching it all over the place for patients with kidney, liver, and other tumors. But it's only on those particular areas of the body, not all areas of the body. But sound waves goes right through you, so it makes perfect sense that is a way for people to be able to use sound to cure cancer. That would be great. And that could be your next concert thought process of where you're advertising. Come to this show, and we will kill all your cancer cells. I think that's a great idea, using our sound technology.
So the question is what sound kills them and what sound promotes them? So would Metallica be what? And would
Well, if you want to stay healthy, don't go to a Kiss show. That's all I can say. But by the way, speaking of Kiss, I just read that Kiss is thinking about doing a show at the Sphere. Could you believe it?
Oh God, here we go. Now we got to talk about the sphere again.
Okay, listen, I got only one story about the Sphere, right? Actually, two. Number one, there's a lot of complaints right now that people are saying that if you get tickets in the hundred section, that they tell you that your view is going to be obstructed, but the people are really complaining really loudly that you can't see, that you cannot see because of the overhang, and it really destroys the whole image of what they're trying to create. So that's number one. But number two, listen to this. A woman was arrested after a Sphere date. So she got this guy to take him to the Sphere, right? And so basically, they were staying at Caesar's Palace, and she stole $57,000 in cash and casino chips from this guy. And so what she did, she said to him, "Listen, I don't want to take my wallet to the Sphere. Is it okay if I put it in your safe?" And she says, "Well, if I'm putting it in your safe, you got to give me the combination to the safe." And he did it. And of course, she ripped him off completely for $57,000. And now, of course, the police, so be careful there, friends and family, about who you take to the Sphere on a date.
Just the FYI on those the 100 section for the Sphere, they actually on Ticketmaster, because I read it when I was looking at the seats, that they actually say they're obstructed views.
I know, yes, they do, and that's what they're saying as well. I mean, their comeback is that they've already said that they're obstructed view, but the people who are buying it don't realize how obstructed the view is. So
Well,
in
it
other
says
words,
it. Like if it reads, I mean, if it says it's an obstructed view, you just can't decide for yourself that you don't think it's like that obstructed, you know? I mean, that's ridiculous.
hey, well, people are ridiculous about everything. I think that, look, they're suing Facebook for it being addictive. I mean, that's crazy talk. I don't spend all my time on Facebook, and no matter how much they advertise to me, they're not going to convince me that I would, I would be a Facebook candidate to be addicted to the medium. Might as well be addicted to watching TV. I mean, because basically in the 50s, that was the first babysitter. You put the kid in front of the TV, you watch the TV. So I don't believe that either. But this is a very litigious society right now we're living in, and people are suing anything for anybody for anything. It doesn't matter. If they think they can get away with it, and it's a deep pocket situation where someone's got money like Facebook, they're going after them. They're going after Apple. They're going after any major corporation. I mean, look how many people have sued McDonald's over serving hot coffee. That's crazy.
Coming back to Ticketmaster, is it Ticketmaster that does the Sphere, or is it somebody else? Because Ticketmaster has a thing where you can click on and it'll show you what your view from your seat looks like.
Exactly. But they also they tell you the sections that are obstructed views. Just like over there at the Cosmopolitan sells SRO tickets, which are standing room only tickets that don't have a view. You could just be inside the theater and you could hear it, but you're probably not going to have a view. People complain about that.
Like before you buy it, you can see what the view is that pops up on your screen. You can see if you like the view or not.
Oh, that's people who don't read or don't utilize those things.
Didn't they cancel The View?
The View from where?
The View.
When they canceled Whoopi,
Oh, so can we sue the GOP for the new speaker that apparently we got today?
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. At least I mean, hey, he got more votes than everybody else. He got 220 votes. That's pretty good. So we'll see what happens. only time is going to tell, but we'll see what happens in the next couple of days because they're way behind schedule. They're probably going to have to do something to fund the government. They're going to have to do something to fund Israel. They're going to have to do something to fund Ukraine, or maybe not. Who knows what they're going to do? But
What do you think?
the
10
reality
days?
is
10 days or less, he's out of there.
yeah. Who knows? I mean, they still have that stupid rule that one person can say, "Hey, I don't like what you're doing. You got to get out." So, but I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to do that this time. I think that they realize that they have definitely destroyed the Republican brand for a while, and I don't think that those people who are in the Congress right now are going to do something even stupider than they've already done. But we'll see. Don't
And what would you base that on?
I want to throw a
just
motion. to
wishful thinking.
I want to send the squad over to the bank and let them get all the people out since they're people, they're friends of them.
Well, we'll see what happens. Of course, that I'm not following that, but I believe that the squad has disbanded. I don't think that there is a squad anymore. I think that there is a lot of friction between the squad members, and I believe that they disbanded that group. But again, it's an opinion. Do your own research. One thing I will say, although this has nothing to do, well, yeah, I guess it does. There's a story right now running around that there's a Chinese brewery, a brewery. It's called Tsingtao, and announced on Monday that they're going to be investigating alongside the authorities after a man was filmed seemingly urinating into a vat of ingredients used to manufacture their beer. So, I mean, that's the same thing as Congress right now. They're peeing in their beer. So,
Have you had
who
Tsingtao?
knows?
Have you had that beer?
It's spelled Tsingtao.
Oh, I know all about
I
it.
don't believe I've ever had it.
Oh, it tastes about like what you just described.
Yeah, pee in the beer. So I'll tell you another thing that's really interesting right now is that there is a study that they just found out, and I'm not kidding around about this. Is that sexual satisfaction may be key to delaying the onset of dementia. So, I mean, that would make sense to me. And, so if you're more sexually active than not, chances are that you will not be coming up with dementia. So, I mean, what does that say about us? Okay, that's good. We're moving on now.
Nothing I can
We're
say.
moving on. All right. So one of the stories, I've been playing a lot of pickleball lately. I've been playing. I used to play tennis all the time, and now I'm playing pickleball, which they say is the fastest growing sport in the history of the planet. It's been around since 1965 or so, and it just really started catching on. They're building courts here in Thailand now as if there's no tomorrow. And in Las Vegas, they built 24 courts in one place, and they found that the demand for those courts are so great that they're expanding. They're building another 20 courts in the same. So if you haven't been playing pickleball, it's a really fun game. It's super fun, very social, and you get a lot of good exercise as well. Well, anyway, the Apple Watch did a study comparison of the health benefits between people who play pickleball and people who play tennis, and the results are in. The results are in. It turns out that people who play pickleball play longer and have a lesser heart rate than those people that play tennis.
And
So,
where did it all
I
start?
mean, there's more running.
And where did it all start?
It started where you are, right in your backyard.
That's right.
It started right in your backyard. So anyway, anybody in the room play pickleball other than me? No? Okay, well, that's it for me. I have no more stories. I have nothing else that I want to talk about unless anybody has anything they want to say. Let's talk about it for the next 8 minutes, and then we'll say goodbye to everybody on social media. But actually, I don't even think we're on social media right now. I think I'm going to have to post the show manually. And I promise that I will either get this together or I will die trying getting it together so that next time that I don't have to do the show from my cell phone.
Does the U.S. travel advisory extend to Thailand?
It extends all over the world right now. I got a notice from the government. Basically, it's a rough time. It's a very, very rough time everywhere in the world, and that is a challenge. What's happening in Israel and the Middle East is spreading throughout the world. It is really putting a divide between people and places and things. And it's a horrible situation, what we're in, really horrible. I'm hoping that it doesn't spread, because if it spreads, it could spread like wildfire. But the lines are being drawn right now. So let's hope for the best. I always say peace be with you. And I mean that. I've been a peacenik since before I could remember. I remember during the Vietnam War, I was totally adamantly against it. Totally adamantly against it. But I wasn't around in World War II or the Korean War, so I don't know how many people were against that. But the reality is that this could be World War III, and I'd hate to see that happen for many, many reasons. Too many people are dying right now, and I really feel badly for those people that are caught in the middle of it.
Yeah, my daughter's in Italy right now, and I know that nothing really going on there, but I'll just rest a little easier when I know she's back here.
Yeah, it's look, you have to be really careful. You have to have your head on a swivel. You really have to look around you. You have to be very careful. And I think tempers are flaring all over the world. I think people are whether they know it or not, they're affected by what happens in the Middle East, and they're affected by what happens in the United States, and they're affected what happens anywhere in the world if it's something that is going to be a major element to the world. And it seems that you can't get away from not having a conversation where they're coming up, no matter what you're talking about. So I wish everybody nothing but peace and happiness and tranquility.
What I want to
Anybody
know,
have anything they want to say?
I want to know, and I've wondered this for, I don't know, 2 years or more. What is the zebra stripe structure in Ken's kitchen?
Yes, I've wondered that too.
Well, Ken, it's up to you.
He's coming
What is
after it.
Oh, well, I can't hear him.
That's a
I
structural
don't know.
pole.
Yeah, he's coming. He's coming.
Separates the morning room from the living room from the kitchen. Does all that make sense?
So it's a post,
Correct.
structural
daughter-
post that holds up a beam.
Well, not really beam. It's a more decorative. It's a half wall. It holds the
Now,
half
what's
wall.
the material on that? Is that real skin, or is that is that wallpaper?
My daughter painted it.
Oh, very nice. How old was she when she painted it?
20 years ago, and she was about 21, 22.
It's really good. I mean, it looks very real and very lifelike.
I thought maybe you bagged it on safari and brought it home as a trophy.
Yeah, that would go well in a house with a vegan and a vegetarian.
So one day your daughter
Yeah,
came
no
home and
meat
said,
here.
you know what? I want to paint the pole.
When we moved in decorating, that was one of there. So, they want to do something accent. We like color in a house. My living room has a green, a purple, and a blue couch. So,
Well, I bet nobody runs into it by mistake.
nope.
Yeah, very good.
Well, there's a lucky break right there.
Yep.
Anyway, anybody have anything else they want to say? Now would be the time to say it. Otherwise, we're going to say goodbye to social media. But I don't really think that social media is seeing this today. They're going to be seeing it later when I post the show.
Well, I got a question for you, Jan.
Go ahead.
When you go out to dinner over there, are there any places that might, have a view that's, as good as this one?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that one looks to me like that's the Patong Tower in the background, and that is the city of Patong, which is which when we go out for a special occasion, we usually go to this place called the Patong Sunset View, and that's exactly what you're looking at, the sunset view. So it's
'cause I
the
stole it
namesake
off-
is
I
correct.
stole it off your Facebook page.
Ah, that's very kind of you.
That's your
Bo
picture.
would be very happy.
That's your picture.
That's very nice. Well, you definitely, at least you've given us credit for it. But how did you get rid of us? You normally we're in every picture that we post.
It was hard. I had to find one you weren't in.
Oh, there you go. And that's very difficult to do. Bo is very photogenic and she loves taking pictures. So we do that a lot. Anyway, the new pictures are great. We found this new place right by our house that has one of the most spectacular views of the ocean of any place. It's called Summer Day, is what it's called. Not spelled. I believe it's spelled with an O, SOMMER. I might be wrong about that, but then again, this is an opinion show, so but it's beautiful as well. Really, really nice. Anyway, if anybody has anything to say, now would be the time. Otherwise, we're going to say goodbye to everybody. And I promise next week, if I could get it together, I will, so that I won't be talking on a cell phone. I'll be talking on my computer, which is right in front of me. But what can I say? Anybody have anything else to say before we say goodbye?
Well, I could
I was
say
just
that.
wondering,
Oh, sorry. Carry on, Ken.
I was just wondering, is the views better than Ray's boathouse there in Seattle on the ocean and the sun going down over the islands and all that stuff?
I don't know. That's a pretty hard view to beat.
Yeah, I
It
don't know,
is.
you're talking those. And then the other
One
question
of
is,
the problems here with the sunset is that it's so humid and there's so many clouds that I haven't seen a good sunset in about 2 years. So I mean, because when the sun starts to go down, the cloud base right on the water edge on the horizon blocks the sunset. So you don't see it go. It's not like a Hawaii sunset where you see the sun go into the water.
so are there Michelin 5-star restaurants in Thailand?
Yes, there are. I don't know about 5-star, but there's definitely 1-star Michelin restaurants. There are Michelin rated restaurants here. But living here, I don't really want to go to a restaurant like that. I'm much happier going to a local Thai restaurant. What I found is the food here in Thailand, no matter where you go, is usually pretty exceptional. It's really, really good because of the spices and how fresh everything is. None of the restaurants that I know of have a freezer. At least not the local restaurants. They don't have a freezer, so everything is fresh. Either that or it's spoiled and they cook it anyway. But but the food is very, very good. Really, really excellent.
Is
All
it
right, we're
like
gonna
the
say
hot-
goodbye to social media. Oh, yeah, Josh, go ahead.
Is it like the spice over there? Is it like really hot spice, or is it just like a quick like type kick for a few seconds and goes away spice, or how spicy is it over there?
There are some spices that if I ate, I would die. I mean, that's you have to really be a native here to be able to enjoy the spice. Most of the cooking that they do for what they call phalangs, which are foreigners, if they cooked it for the phalang as they cook it for the Thai people, you would have to be taken to the hospital. The emergency, you'd have to. It's so spicy. They have stuff that you just can't eat unless you've been bred on it throughout your whole life.
Yeah,
And
I'm
even
sure
then, people have stomach ulcers from the spice in the food.
I'm sure some of that spice would make you cry, even the mild stuff.
No, God, yes. Absolutely will make you cry. Absolutely will make you cry. Anyway, those people on social media, thanks for listening and watching. Just remember, you make it happen. Next week will be 180. Wednesday at 5 o'clock. If you like the show, share it and give us a thumbs up. And if you don't like it, share it anyway with the people you don't like. And that way you can get even with them somehow. So remember, you make it happen. Have a great week. Stay safe and healthy, and peace be with you. Bye now.
So back to the